Yosef goyanim navoidoso mulevim neshira muled Avremi Yosef Yisroel nevayet Agut moy raboisai Leiluy nishmat Miriam was Mordechai. I just want to remind you, Gary, not to lean in, please. Wow. So I don't know if Gary's even aware. I mentioned it maybe a week ago. Today, it's his birthday. This is when he came, his very, very first time to Menachem Atez's Sukkah. He might have come for a nice breakfast, but he got dragged in. And when he doesn't have to be in the booth, he actually learns the daf. That happens once or twice a year. It's gewaldig. Thank you, Gary. Thank you. And if you want to see Gary and get to know him a little bit better, come to the Shabbaton. I just heard Donnie Fine is coming. Donnie, shkoyach. Gee, it's going to be unbelievable. A good Moed. Please put the Tamei HaMikra back into your charts. I've been meaning to email you for a couple of weeks. They're extremely helpful in being able to read the psukim to know when you should break or pause between words. Taking them out is like removing commas from an English sentence. Shkoyach. Thanks for everything as always. Avi. Okay? We took them out because we felt it was clear by the famous Yaakov Aber from Lawrence, was the most Hasidic daf in Shas. He was very good friends with his son. I still am, but he moved away from Chicago, went to New York. It was the most Hasidic daf in Shas. I met Jack in the airport. The sugya of getting married after 2 dates. Yontif, Yaakov Aber, Lawrence, New York. Oh, this is Rabbi said. This is why I love emails. I was wondering about Katriel Kantorovich. You remember Katriel? Anybody remember him? Here, he's going to explain who he is. And Baruch Hashem, he wrote in. I didn't hear from him in at least a year. Hello, and best regards, the Rebelli. Now he's like a Israeli-American kind of guy. So excuses. It's worse than learning in Panovich, English. If you remember, I graduated the first time in my life, Siyum Masechta, at the age of 38. And you let me finish before a full hall. It's been 2 years ago. 2 years. And I'm writing to you to tell you that for the first time in my life, I finished Shnai Mikra Ve'echot Targum. First time in his life. So I'm reading it because Rabbi said we're here. No Sukkahs, we're starting. Beis Hashem right after Simchas Torah. On Simchas Torah, starting Parashas Bereishis. It's a great opportunity to jump in. Many people have taken it upon themselves. It's a chiyuv to do, and it fits right in with Daf Yomi. It's the consistency. You do every day, one aliyah, and you're good to go. And it's thanks to you, and thanks to my friends in MDY, my dear friend who pushed me to study with you, Azriel Davis. I don't have the words to thank you for what you've done in my life, turning into a Torah life. Chag Sameach to you and all the friends and learners of MDY. It's a beautiful email for me. For me, I miss this guy. I remember him at the Siyum. I haven't seen him basically since 2 years ago. He might have come once or twice, but that's it. He's back in. Not back in. He never left. Katriel Kantorovich Yishkoyach. Rabbi Isai, the Masechta is sponsored by Lakewood NJ families like in Jersey because torah and achdus are the best segula. Oh, before I forget, people are a little confused. Today, obviously, Shiur is in Beis Medrash. Friday, the Shiur is in Beis Medrash. Wednesday, most likely, the Shiur is in Beis Medrash. But Monday and Tuesday, the Shiur is in my Sukkah, Nachal Noam 2. Monday is sponsored by MDY. There might be a sponsor, I don't know, but it's an MDY. There's going to be a chef making omelets and pancakes and all sorts of stuff and bagels and lox. And there's even going to be orange juice, believe it or not. It's unbelievable. Great time by all. Wine. Tuesday is 100% from beginning to end. All the food, all the setup and everything is Benzi Novak and his family. Because of this young kids, it's a tremendous thing to watch. You decide, it's not like he's this big usher. He's a nurse. And he wants every year. Right? This is the 3rd year he's doing it. He comes in, makes everything by hand. Everything. Bagels, this, that. Yeah. I don't know what he does. He brings the bagel. He walks all the way to the bagel store, stuffs it on his head. I don't know. Everything's by hand.
also a tour guide, and he could use some tour business as well.
He's also a tour guide, and we have 6 of them in this room right now. But yes, he's also a tour guide, and and he's also like the head of Hatzlocha. He was, so he got a van, a Hatzlocha van, a Mercedes. So he uses that for his tour. You could use that also if you want it. Kids are, if anybody has like a cut or something, you go to him. He's very good at closing up wounds. As a zechus, the Paras HaChodesh is a zechus that our family should be blessed with health, simcha nachas, till 120. Paras HaChodesh, Hatzlocha, the zechus, Yosef, Miriam, ben Rochel. Paras HaChodesh, Elan, Chaim, Golan, Leiluy, nishmat, Batsheva, Chaya, Miriam. Paras HaChodesh, Leiluy, nishmat, zechariah, ben Moshe. Paras HaChodesh, Leiluy, nishmat, Chaya, bas Yosef. Paras HaYoim, 0. Art of the month, Yosef ben Chaya, sorrow for the zechusim that come from supporting the torah. So I got cut off in my own thought. Monday and Tuesday in my sukkah. Wednesday, not in my sukkah. We're giving my wife a break. Thursday, back in my sukkah. That I didn't say. That's also sponsored by MDY. And you have Nechemi Seltzer running around, even as we speak right now, shopping and going. It's a lot of work behind the scenes. There were meetings, Benny and this and that, the chef and the whole zach. A lot of setup. And all the shiurim start Moed at 10 o'clock. Basically, it gives enough time to finish behind us. We started at 8:30. We finished today with 10 minutes to spare. That's why I'm early. One of the first times I was early. Leiluy is invited to dive in there. And anybody, if you want to, I think it's $1,000 to sponsor one of these breakfasts. You cannot sponsor Ben Sinovac's breakfast. That's already taken by Ben Sinovac. All right, Rabbi Yosef. Kids are invited. The kids that do the shiur are invited. My nephew called me up. He says he's bringing a whole van full of his friends. I said, no, we barely have room for people that do the daf. Your friends will make a breakfast for them a different time. Yeah, they come now. Rabbi Yosef, we have a beautiful sugya today, more of a lighter, the type of sugya. Memches Amud Beis, all the way in the bottom, Omar Abaya. So it's a little schwer to do a shiur now because people are hungry and we can't really serve food out of the sukkah. So I feel bad in a way, but I also feel bad for my wife, and that's why we decided to give her a little bit of breaks here and there. Omar Abaya, and they have a whole family. They didn't know what to do last year. They have to hide in the whatever. So Omar Abaya. We're talking about this amazing halacha that we had yesterday. If the woman thinks that she's getting less, she thinks she's getting a bar of silver, and he decides to surprise her with a bar of gold, Tanakama says it's not a Kiddushin. She was fooled. Why? Because she wanted silver for whatever her cheshbon is. She wanted silver, not gold. Reb Shimon says, no, anytime you upgrade, it's a Kiddushin. It's only when you downgrade that it's not a Kiddushin. So if you told her, I'm giving you a bar of gold, gives her a bar of silver, then it's not a Kiddushin. But vice versa, it's okay. Omar Abaya. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Oh, so the Gemara used the lashon as follows. Here it is. Mara Makoim Hiloy. She was giving. She told the shliach when we're talking about a shliach. She was saying. Gemara explained that we're talking about a shliach. She was just giving him direction, approximate. She wasn't being exact. She didn't say, I want silver, and that's it. Oh, I have silver. I didn't even have. Okay, good. Silver. He didn't say, I want silver, not gold. I want Kiddushin. You give me gold, it's even better. So now we're going to bring 3 Tanoim that also hold Mara Mokim Eloy. When a person says something, they're not being literal, they're not being, you have to take me by the word. They're just Berech. Reb Shimon Gamliel, Reb Elazar, Kulu, Svirlu, Mara, Makoim, Huloy. Huloy. Reb Shimon, Hoda Amar, and Reb Shimon, we just explained that she just said, I want silver because she was just saying, approximately, get me some Kiddushin, get me some silver. You get gold, it's even better. Diamonds is even better than gold. Reb Shimon Gamliel, and where did Reb Shimon Gamliel say the same halacha? This nan, Memtesam Adal. Get Pashut. Edav Mitoichai. I don't know what I spent at least 10 minutes looking for my get. Not my get. I mean, the get I used throughout Masechtas Gitin, but I did find the get makusha. So get, everybody knows a get is just a document with 12 lines. On the bottom, you have the signature of the Edom. Get pashut edav mitoichay. Mikusher edav machayrav. This is a get mikusher. So this is to make the kohen's life miserable. If he decides to divorce his wife, they made it takana. You sew up the get. Here you even have I did this once in Shiur, we're not going to do it again. Here's the needle. And basically what you do is, you write a couple of words over here, and then the Edom sign on the outside. And then they sew it. You write a few more words over here, and then the Edom sign over here, on the fan. And then you sew it. You write a few more words over here, the Edom sign with the stickers, and then you fold it and you sew it. This process, however long it takes, it gives the kohen a little bit of time to calm down, cool off. Takes a little breather, and then he decides, okay, fine, I won't divorce my wife. Because if he goes ahead and he does a quick get process, it's too late. He can never remarry his wife. There's no machzir grushasai by a kohen. So we're worried. We had situations in the past where kohanim just divorced their wives, and then later on they felt really bad about it, and they came to the rabbanim. There's nothing you can do about it. So they said, okay, we're going to do a get mikusher. The question is, what happens if somebody says, get me a get mikusher, I want to get mikusher, and they give him a regular get, or a regular get and get mikusher? Is he just giving an approximate instruction, or he's being very, very specific? Same idea like we have over here. Pasha, 2 lines down. Pasha sheksavi edom acharav. You take a regular, simple piece of paper get, and instead of signing on the bottom like they always do, they sign on the back, like a get mikusher. Umakusher sheksavi edom mitoichai, and a get mikusher where the signatures of the edom are inside. Shneim psulim. So I don't know if this is the right way. Maybe it's supposed to be on the back side. It seems like, I don't know. I thought it's like this. Maybe it means over here. Akabanim, he did it in a way where it's like a regular get. Shneim psulim. If he was told, get a makusher, and you did a pashut or pashut and makusher, it's possible. Reb Elchanan ben Gamliel omer makusher ksave edom mitoichai kasher sheyachal asay pashut. Reb Elchanan ben Gamliel says, if you take a fan and you put all the edom inside, then it's a good get. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel omer hakol k'minig hamedina. It's whatever in that place, whatever the minig is. Today we don't have a minig to do makusher. Back in the day they were doing makusher. It stopped somewhere along in history. So whatever the minig is. We asked the question, what the Tanakama argues, if the minig in Ramat Bet Shemesh is to do makusher and you did a pashut, why would it be a good get? You're right. If you went against the minig, the minig is to do makusher. You did a pashut. Of course, the man is makbid and it's not a get. Talking about a place, you could do either or. And he told the shliach, I want a regular get. And he did a makusher. The Tanakama says, nope. When he says, I want a pashut, he means pashut. You do it anyway different, it's not a get. And this is the Reb Shimon Gamliel we're looking for. In other words, what's easier to write? A regular get or a makusher get? Of course, a regular get. So when a person says, do a get pashut, he's just saying, Rashi explains, do the easy one. You want to drive yourself from sugar and do a hard one? Good, that's your problem. I'm just telling you what you can get away with. For me, get away with the easy. You want to be fancy? You want to do drawings on it? Okay, it's still kosher. I'm just telling you, I'm giving you basic instructions. You want to elaborate and you want to do more, that's also okay. So here you see, Mara Mokim Eli. Finally, the last man, the Omar Reb Elazar, the Snano, Isha Shomra is Kabali Giti Memokim Pliny. A woman tells her shliach, go to New York and pick up a get. The Kibala Gita Mokim Acher, and she went to Rome and she picked it up over, and he picked it up over there. Puzzle, it's not a good get. Reb Elazar Machshir, Reb Elazar says it is a good get. Amakasavar Mara Mokim Eli. End the story. Reb Elazar holds. She was just giving him advice. You want to find the guy, you want to find my husband, he's in New York. If you found him in Rome, it's also good. All I care is that I get a get. I don't care where you got the get. Fine. New sugya. Smack in the middle of the page, in the middle of the Amud. Omarula. Machlokes b'shevach mamoin, ava b'shevach yuchasin. We had all machlokes. If a person says, I want to be miskadeshes with silver, and she ends up with gold, you have a machlokes. Tanakama says it's no good. Reb Shimon says it is good. That's great when it comes to monetary things. But if you fool her with Yichus, you tell her, I'm Litvish, and it turns out you're Hasidish, you're Litvish. I'm the son of Amaretz, and it turns out that my father is a big Rebbe. No good. Shevach Yuchsin, Dirakol, Eino Mekudeshes. My timer. Misana the Rav, Mekari Lebinon. Misana means shoes, the Rav that are too large. Mekari Lebinon. I don't need large shoes for my feet. I can't walk in shoes that are too large. I can't be married to the son of a Rebbe. It's too much. You need bodyguards. Everybody wants to know what's going on. They're following you. It's a passion. I want a simple life. So Rashi explains over here that somebody that comes from a chosh v'yichus, he's mizgah, he has gaiva, and she doesn't want a gaiva guy walking around the house. She wants a simple man. The Reish Chachma says the person that's mizgah, he's haughty in his own house. The Torah says that nobody will accept him. His household won't accept him. You have to be humble. The Medrash Tillim says a person should be humble in the eyes of his family. Oh, so this I thought was a chiddush. This is all within the same Medrash. He says that if his wife gives him teichacha in Yiddishkeit, in Yonei Dishmaya, she tells him, why didn't you go to the daf today? Why didn't you go to Minyan? What's wrong with you? So a person should accept it from his wife. Accept the Musar. Musar in Yonah Dishmai accept. So I had a shaila. What about, should a wife give teichacha to the husband? Now, we're not talking about this generation and individual circumstances. I know that you're not supposed to really give Musar today. That's what it says in the pasuk. You should be mechech people. You see somebody doing Aveira, you should tell them off. It doesn't really apply now because people are litzanim, they're going to make fun of you, yell at you. Fine. But in general speaking, so I asked this question to my daughter-in-law and my daughter, and I got different answers. So I think if you went home and asked this question, you're going to get different answers also. I had a chashash, they're going to get different answers. No, what are you talking about? You don't tell your husband what to do. It's not appropriate. Let him do his thing. He doesn't want to daven Kriya Shema Bizman. That's his problem, not my thing. But it says no, huh?
We're curious. Who said that?
I'll tell you. I'm trying to think if I remember.
I want to know if your daughter.
No, because my daughter-in-law came over to me and she said, "I don't understand the chiddush. What are you telling me chiddush here? It's pashut." Okay.
That makes sense.
So no, the halacha is that a wife should be mochiach her husband, and if she doesn't, she gets a oynish. She gets punished for not telling her husband in a nice way, obviously, in a way that he could be makabel. You don't yell and criticize. Criticism never works. But the Torah says that you should do this and this and that. Okay, fine. No, it happens to be my wife doesn't hold to that. And it worked well for me. To me, I'm the type of person, if she would be machiach me, I know that I would go the other way. Like Badaf could not do it. So I'm saying maybe today it doesn't apply. I'm saying in a general rule. Nachol, today the whole eichacha thing doesn't work. So it probably doesn't work for women as husband and wife. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Tayna mehachi. We have another brisa that proves this. Moed Reb Shimon hital shevach yuchsin. If the man lied about his yichus, one way or another, he said his father's a Rebbe. It turns out he doesn't even have a father. He says that his father's not a Rebbe, his father's a Rosh Yeshiva. Whatever it is, ain't a mekudeshes. It doesn't work. You have to be truthful about your yichus. Omer Rav Ashi, Masisa Nami Daika Diktoni Amnas. I don't know if everybody knows this, but I have a lot of Hasidic friends. By Hasidim, yichus is like it's number one usually. Like that comes before money and midas. It's like you have your grandfather's so and so Rebbe. Okay, I want to get married right now. It's like yichus is unbelievable. So people lie all the time about yichus. You know, I am. My grandfather's this Rebbe. My other grandfather's that Rebbe. My great grandfather's that Rebbe. And then you find out it's impossible. Whatever. The kid says he has like 25 Rebbes that is azoygetas. If you lie about it, that's not yichus. Yichus is genetic. But thank you. Appreciate it. Coming from the guy that the other day you knocked me about my gaiva. Now you want to boost me up again? Brought me down. Shkaya, I really appreciate it. It's so. So the Gemara says like this. If you look at Daf Yomi Beis, and we're going to get there, Beis Hashem, today, a guy tells a kala, we're getting engaged on condition that I am a kohen. Woo, I'm a kohen, I'm going to have kids, kohen, they're going to duchen, so geschmack. Amanas Shani Kohen v'nimtza Levi. He's a liar. He's a Levi. Levi v'nimtza Kohen. He says on condition I'm a Levi, and then it turns out that he's even more than a Levi. He's upgraded to a Kohen. Nasim v'nimtza Mamzer. Mamzer is the worst, but a Nasim is somebody who from the Gevonim that they lied to Yeshua. They said that they pretended that they came from a distance, but they were really right there. They dressed up in all these clothes. So Yeshua, since Yeshua swore that he's not going to wipe them out, he made them water carriers, wood choppers. So, but David HaMelech said you can't marry them. So, a person lies, he says I'm a Nasan, but the truth is he's worse than a Nasan, he's a Mamzer. Mamzer in him a Nasan, or he lied that he's a Mamzer, and he's actually better than a Mamzer, he's a Nasan. Leiluy, Poly Reb Shimon. So we have a Raya, that Reb Shimon agrees that if you lie about yichus, it's not a Kiddushin. Reb Shimon only argues with money things. You say, I want a bar of silver, you give a bar of gold, says Reb Shimon, it's a good Kiddushin. But if you say that you're a Levi, and it turns out you're a Kohen, it's not a good Kiddushin. Says Gemara in the same Mishnah, the Gemara calls it the Sefer, right? Because it's one Mishnah, just Vilna chopped it up. Almanas, I didn't check it out, but that's probably it. In the same Mishnah it says, we'll get married on condition that I have help, live-in help. I have a shivcha megudeles. I have a grown shivcha. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do dishes. You don't have to clean. I have this thing. You know what? I have a daughter. She'll take care of it. Leiluy, he lied. Leiluy, he says, no, I don't have help. People said, no, I heard you don't have help. Yeshloy. The shevach mamenu. Shevach mamoin. I just thought about a ma'aseh that's almost connected to this. I thought I would share with you. My brother-in-law is a Rosh Yeshiva, and he's a humble person. Because my wife's family is very like tznuim. He's not a show-off. So his daughter was read a shidduch, and the other side didn't want the shidduch because they found out that my brother-in-law, he took a helicopter from Yerushalayim to Miriam, unlike Weimar. They don't want a family like that. These big shots that take helicopters. Turns out, like my father-in-law, he took a helicopter from Yerushalayim to Miriam. So me and my brother-in-law, we jumped in. Why not? A free ride. He's never been in a helicopter in his life, never been in a helicopter afterwards. Shidduch was off. It's like, we don't want people like this. We don't want people that have live-in help. And there's such a thing. Some people love it. Oh, they have live-in help. No, I'm going to marry a woman that live-in help, a spoiled brat, blah, 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 blah. I don't want this. Shevach momenu. Hachanami delei poli. Elo. So, but wait a minute. But this whole thing of living and not living, I just ruined it kind of. Because I'm saying that it's about a personality. But the Gemara is understanding that it's more about money, not money. Does this person have money? He's a wealthy guy, could afford live-in help or not? And over there, Reb Shimon doesn't argue. But Reb Shimon is of the opinion that when it comes to mumminess, if you upgrade, if you tell somebody, let's get married, I'm sorry I don't have any live-in help, and then it turns out he surprises her, he has live-in help, Adarab, it's better. Of course it's a good shidduch. No, you misunderstood. Reb Shimon is in our Mishnah over here, but Reb Shimon Shita continues on to the following Mishnah, and he argues on everything. On Kohanim, Leviim, live-in help, not live-in help, bars of gold, bars of silver, everything. If you upgrade, good shidduch. Downgrade, not a good shidduch. Says Gemara, no, not a good. Hasam, when it comes to monetary things, you're right. When it comes to a shifcha, I have live-in help, I have a bar of gold, then it's good. But don't mix up another case of yichus. It means the polynisni. It's a completely different svara, different logic. The woman thought she's marrying into a Rebbe family. She's going to have a chasana that's 17 blocks long. They close everything off, and 200,000 people are going to fly in from America. It turns out the guy can't even afford 10-person chasana. She doesn't want to get married to a guy like this. So obviously, if Reb Shimon argues and says that it is a good shidduch, he should have said it. It should have been in the Mishnah. Another pshat is no. The whole Mishnah, the shivcha part is also yuchsan. You think that when he says I have a daughter megudelas, he means she's over bas mitzvah. My megudelas gadelas. It means that she's a respected person. The amra hiloi nichali. I don't want somebody that's respected, that has a lot of friends. The shakli mili minoi v'ozenadi kamei shivusai. Gary and I, we share the same cleaning lady. Also, Reb David, the gold, same thing. So I hear, before everybody else, we hear the cleaning lady comes in and says, David Gold's wife is in the hospital. She's about to give birth. Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't know she's okay. Mazel tov. Huh? I hear all this stuff. We hear back and forth. Yirmi did this, Gary did that. It's all that you probably hear. You hear about us? Vada. We don't want that. We don't want she going here taking words and giving things and giving you information and rechilos and lashon hara. We don't want it, she says. I don't want a cleaning lady. That's why it's not. It's about yichos more than money. It's not about money. It's about a side thing. Torah Rabbanan. Okay. Amanashani Karyana. It's a lot of these guys not going well in shidduchim. They have to make stuff up. So a guy says, "You got to marry me." You know why? I'm a balkaira. Oh yeah, balkaira. What does it mean balkaira? He once laned his bar mitzvah parsha, not only the last 3 psukim of maftir. That's it. He's Mr. Balkaira. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no. At least he has to understand. Not like a bar mitzvah boy has no clue what's flying in America. They have no idea, right? Tell him it's talking about potato chips. Potato. They don't. You have to understand. You have to have targum. You have to know. Ask the Gemara, you targum and what he's going to make his own little pshat. He's going to say the psukim and say his own translation. If you translate a pasuk literally, like the way word for word, you're faker. And if you add a little bit to it, right? Because there's many psukim in the Torah that say one thing and mean something else. You need a Gemara for that. If you add your own thing, says Rashi, you mevazed the Rebbeinu Shalom. By you adding your own things, you're mevayish HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Elamai Targum. So what's Targum? Targum di don. Rabbi say here, Mamsha kiss from Hashem. Mamsha, same day we got the email. Talking about Targum Onkelos. What's so special about Onkelos? So I forgot it was, maybe Danny told me that I'm mentioning his name too much these days. Somebody, did you tell me that you're allowed to do Shnai Mikra Vechel Targum with art scroll? Or we just got an email. I just read something like that, no? Okay. So let's see Rashi here. It's 3 lines from the bottom. Harezi Mecharef, what? It was an email. I'm not arguing on it, I'm just pointing a Rashi out here.
It's that or not doing it.
Oh, if it's that or not doing it, 100%. Gary, please lean back. Come on, I can't give shir like this. Please, can somebody tell me? Harezi Mecharef. Mevazes HaMokim, says Rashi, Mishanas Dvar. Now, it says, V'onkelos kishahoisef loy medaita hoisef. Onkelos was a ger. He didn't create words. Sometimes he changes the whole translation in the pasuk. What is it like? You have even in Bereshis, no, that they have animals could talk. What does he say? You have daita, whatever the lashon is over there. No, anybody? Ruach memalola. Thank you. Ruach memalola. Huh? Our speech. Okay, I messed up a little bit, but that's what I meant. Onkelos sticks in a different pshat sometimes. A lot of times when you don't understand the Chumash, you look in Onkelos, you can get decent pshat. If you know a little bit of Aramaic, he gives you better pshat than you can understand on your own. So he didn't add it by himself. Shari b'Sinai nitan. The whole Targum Onkelos was given to Moshe Rabbeinu on Har Sinai. Elo shenishtakach v'chazav yizdai. The famous Rashi, the famous Yisoid, that Onkelos or Gemara Kedamrim Megillah v'soim sechel ze Targum. That the Targum Onkelos is not a human being that made a translation like an art scroll on the Chumash. It came directly from Sinai. That's why we say Shnai Mikra V'Echel Targum. We're not stam. And if you don't understand the word of Onkelos, you're also Yoitz, I think, because at the end of the day, it's halacha l'moshe Messinai. It's Uncles is a ger, yeah. No, he was able to restore it he heard from his Rebbeim and he put it together. He remembered it and he put it together. But it came from Sinai. Zog. Anyway, so it's a good time, Rabbi Yosef, if you're not doing Shnai Mikra, it's a good time to jump in and start. Oh, I had a Chumash. There's a special edition MDY Shnai Mikra Chumash who those who join. But you can do without it. Sometimes other Chumash even okay, whatever. That's when he promised her that he's a karyon, he's a reader, a later. If you use the different lashon, I know how to read. It means that the Karya Raisa, until he learns Chumash, Nevi'im, Nevi, Ksuvei, B'diyuka, he knows them well. Like Lahavdil, like Zichru boy. I don't know if you know meet these kids that go to Zichru, they know Chamisha Chum Shetar, Balpeh, backside forwards, like that. Maybe better. Amana Shani Shoina. Person says, I'm. Yeah, Zilberman is the first one. They have one. Zechus has 80. Amana Shani Shoina. I study a lot. Chizki Omar, what does that mean? Halachas. So if you don't, what does halachas mean? If you don't look in Rashi, halachas means Shulchan Aruch. You learn Mishnah Berurah. No, halacha l'Moshe Messinais. Reb Elchanan Omar Torah. And this is a problem. The Gemara is going to ask a question. Reb Elchanan says, I study, says Reb Elchanan Torah. Meisvei, why Torah? Ezu Mishnah. What does it mean? Reb Omer halachas, again, halacha l'Moshe. Reb Yehuda Omer medrash. Safra, Sifri. Not, medrash doesn't mean the little medrash says. Medrash means safra and sifri. But akoparim, it doesn't mean what Reb Elchanan says, chumash, Torah. Says the Gemara, Daf Yomi Beis, my Torah, Medrash Torah. And that's what Rabbi Yehuda was saying. Medrash, Safra Sifri, that's what Torah means. So it does fit in. Rabbi Elchanan fits in. For all those in need of Refuah Shlema and by Kidnovations, in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman, and as a zechus for a year filled with Maz Baruch Hatzlocha and Parnasa B'Revach, for all of them, the white family. V'hanem Eli, D'Omar Lo, Tanina. Tanina, I study. Avadamar Lo, Tano Ano. He calls himself a Tano. We're talking about in the later generation, not Tanoim, but he says, I'm Choshev, I'm a Tano. Adetoni Yilchasa, Sifra, Sifri, V'Tesefta. You have to know halacha l'Moshe Sinai, Sifra, Sifri, and Tesefta. Amanashani Talmud. I learn from others. Eino Imrim. So now the Gemara is just going to say all these things. A person makes a deal with a woman. Says, I'm going to get married to you, but I'm this, I'm a Talmud, I'm a Chacham, we go to the least. I'm a Balkaira, 3 psukim. And Imrim Kishimim ben Azar, Kishimim ben Zoyim, not the greatest Talmid Chacham. So this is interesting. It would seem from the Lashon over here that means you could ask him anywhere. No, not anywhere. Where he's learning, you ask him, what are you learning now? So I'm learning Kiddushin. Okay. Do you know what Shnei Ksuvim Abam Kechad means? And he says, yeah, I know. Boom. That's good. But it's in a Masechta that he's learning, in a topic that he's learning. Va'afilu b'Masechta de Kala. Masechta Kala, says Rashi, that if it says in Masechta Kala very simple things like Kala b'loy bracha, asura lebala kanida. If you don't make the brachas on a Kala, not hamoitzi lechem and it's all the brachas under the chuppah. You don't make those brachas, it's kanida. Akopan, it's a very easy Masechta. So there's a guy, a bacher, that they read a shidduch. They said, this guy, they went to the Gvir, they said, this guy's unbelievable. He knows Shas backwards and forwards. Mamish, backwards and forwards. So the Gvir said, okay, sounds great for my daughter. So he comes in the first day, right before the first day, he says, no, I heard the Mamish know backwards and forwards. What are you smiling already? It's not that funny. He says, yeah, I know backwards and forwards. Here, listen. Brachas, Shabbos, Erevin, Psachim. Oh, and backwards. Nida, Midas, Tamid. He says, okay, Shkoyach, Shalom Yisrael. So each bacher, you call him a Chacham? No, it only means this. This, Yosef Hafach, Shas Yosef Hafach. How do you do Shas backwards? I don't even know. What comes after Nida? Tamid and Midas, something like that. Midas or Tamid? Okay, whatever, one of those. Midas Tamid. Great. Oh, I'm a chacham. It doesn't mean you're smart as Reb Akiva. You ask him, well, over here it's everything. Ask him anywhere in Shas and he knows how to say, great. I'm so strong. I'm stronger than your father. Not like the generals of David and Shaul. If his friends are fearful of him, he's stronger than his friends, that's enough of a gibor. I'm wealthy. Famous Reb Elchanan Pressman used to give Meiser Behema 12,000 calves a year. Meaning, Meiser is 10%. That means every year he had 120 newborns. So I said, I have to show you this because, what did I say? Oh no, 120,000. Yeah, 120,000. This, yeah, 120,000. So on Chol Moed one year, I went to this place with my kids. It's an amazing thing. It's not, if you haven't seen it, it's a merry-go-round for cows. So you can see on the right top corner, they all stand there, pushing to get onto this merry-go-round. And they get on the merry-go-round and it milks them. And it does one circle, and on the left of the top right, the top left, they get off. Over here you can see half this merry-go-round is empty. What? This is in America, they have this. It holds about 70 cows in a shot. They do one sivuv, and they automatically back out and get out. I thought it's very cool. So they have thousands, and they have so many cows that whenever you go there, you could see a birth of a cow. They have a room, and they have like 5 cows that are about to give birth, and every 2 minutes is another cow being born. What? Maternity reward, yeah. Tons of steak, yeah. Fine. Zog the Gemara. So it's not, you don't have to be as wealthy as Bill Gates. In that city, wherever he is, they give him cover because he's wealthy. Oh, Rabbi said, listen to this one. Oh, the girl says, I'm from Yisakov, I don't want to marry a Russia. Are you a tzaddik? Yes. I'll prove it to you. I'm getting married on condition that I'm a tzaddik. Afilu Russia Gomor, even if the guy's a known Russia, he works for the mafia, Mekudeshes. It's a Suffolk Kiddushin. Why? Shema, Rabbi Isai, Shema here, tshuva b'daitoi. Because maybe in his mind, he did tshuva. In his mind. So, first of all, so I was going to say 2 simple things, but then I had a mamash kiss from Hashem. Rav Shteiman, somebody came to him and said, I'm a chazan for Yom Neroim, and I don't know if it says if a guy has chataim and he dances for the Amud and Yom Neroim, he gets tremendous punishment. I'm scared of the punishment. So Rav Shteiman told him, what's the problem? Just think in tshuva. Be mahar tshuva as you go up there. It's not a big deal. Mendy told me this morning, he's a chazan in Yom Neroim in a big shul here. So he said the guy comes over to him every single year. He says, Rav Shteiman says, if you just mahar b'tshuva, so he does it. Fine, so that's one thing. The Batsheva said, Rebbe said that he's very jealous of Rochel. A guy that had a bad thing in his life. He does a lot of averes. You know how many averes? Oh, millions of averes. He's jealous of them. Why? Because all they need to do is do tshuva. And once they do tshuva, the averes turn into mitzvahs. And he has to work so hard to come up with a few mitzvahs. These guys take all these averes and turn them into mitzvahs. Fine. But yesterday, Reb Elchanan Goldberg sent a video. He said it has to do with the shiur yesterday. But I think it has more to do with the shiur today. I thought it was beautiful. I listened to it, even though I heard it, but the way this Rav, I forgot his name. Sinclair, Reb Elchanan Sinclair. Sorry, Reb Elchanan Sinclair. He said it so perfectly. Every word was measured, and he said it beautifully. He's a master storyteller. So since it's Chol Moed, listen to this mice over here. Here we go. I had goosebumps when
One day, a young bocher from Bnei Brak decided he wanted to be Chiloni. He moved out of his parents' home and into his uncle's apartment in Tel Aviv, a stone's throw from Bnei Brak geographically, but about as far away as Mars religiously. Time went by, and the bocher met and fell in love with a non-Jewish girl. He got engaged to her. Now, this was too much even for his secular uncle, and he became very angry with him. But in spite of all the uncle's efforts to get him to cancel the wedding, the nephew was determined to go through and marry the girl. The uncle was at least able to convince this bocher to tell his parents face to face about what he planned to do. The only time that this bocher said that he had was on Shabbos. And he agreed to go back for Shabbos, provided that his parents agreed to his conditions. So he spent most of Shabbos night chilling on his parents' porch with a cigarette in his mouth, and Shabbos morning found him out there again with his iPhone. In the afternoon, his father asked him if he'd like to go to a shiur with him to Reb Elchanan Pressman, Rochel. Surprisingly, he agreed to go. After the shiur, his father brought him over to Reb Elchanan. The father told the Rav that his son was no longer Shomer Shabbos. Reb Elchanan looked at this fellow and asked him, "How long is it since you kept Shabbos?" 2 years, said the young man. "And during that time, did you have any thoughts of tshuva?" "Yes," he said, "about 4 times. And each of those 4 times, how long did that last for?" "About 10 minutes. Said Reb Elchanan, "So it comes out that in the last 2 years, you had 40 minutes of Mokom Shabale Tshuva Omdim, Tzadikim Gemurim Eino Omdim. For that, I envy you." Good Shabbos. The young fellow returned to his uncle's apartment in Tel Aviv, but the Rav's words would not let him rest. After a week, he decided to postpone the wedding, and then he cancelled it, and after a lot of soul-searching, he went back to his family. Today, he's an Avrech. Now, there's something that doesn't quite make sense about this story. Why would someone who's surfing the web on Shabbos afternoon want to go to a shiur by a tzaddik? Someone asked him this question, and his answer was, "When I was in Kita Dalet in Cheder, my class went to be tested by Reb Elchanan Zatzal. The Rebbe asked that the Rav should give us very, very simple questions, and so Reb Elchanan asked questions which everyone could answer. When each boy answered his question, Reb Elchanan gave him a candy. And when it was my turn to go in, he asked me an easy question, but I didn't know the answer. So he asked me an even easier question, and I still don't know the answer. And he asked me an even easier question, and then I still couldn't answer. While everyone was leaving with their candy in their hand, Reb Elchanan called me over, and he said to me, 'In Torah and Yiddishkeit, you get reward for effort, not for results. All the other boys tried to answer one question, and they got 1 candy. You tried to answer 3 questions, so you get 3 candies.' With a smile, he dropped 3 candies into my hand. Our actions have echoes down the years. A kind word, a smile, a gesture today may save someone's life tomorrow."
Unbelievable, huh? Huh? Right now? You just ask Reb Yosef. Anyway, so the Gemara says over here that I know why Reb Elchanan I know Reb Elchanan sent it to me because we were talking about effort and torah effort. The Chaim says everybody over here, mamash fits in perfect. Shem here b'tshuva b'daitoi. That if he's mahar b'tshuva for one moment, is tzadikim gemur mein chayim lamaycham. So this is not a yisod in Shas, but I like saying it. It's pashut, but we have to know this here. Yiddishkeit is in the head. In other words, if a person can be a Rasha, you look at him, he's a Rasha. But in a moment, just in his mind, he flips everything and he says, nobody sees. He does tshuva in his mind. He looks like he's continuing to be that Rasha that you know. Same guy. The guy that's driving the bus, the children to school. He says to himself in his mind, he says, I'm driving these kids so they could go to Cheder. Or the other guy says, I'm driving these kids so I can make $30 an hour. 2 different people, it's in the head. Zog the Gemara, Amanashani Rasha. So Nachamal, if a person says, Amanashani Tzadik, but the guy's a big Russia. If we have to be concerned, maybe he changed it all in his mind. Maybe he did hear tshuva. And now that you see from this Meiser Shteman, here's a guy that's marrying a guy who did hear tshuva 4 times. That's the story. I'm not any Russia. A guy says she only wants to marry a Russia. She's very makbid. She's looking in the shidduch market for a Russia. Finally, she found the guy. Are you a Russia? Yeah, I promise you I'm a Russia. Afilu tzadik gomer. He's a big tzadik, big masman. Mukudeshes. Why? Shemir dvar avodah b'daito. L'maiser boy. So we don't know. El yoinim l'mata tachtonim l'mala. You think the guy is a big tzadik? He's garnished. He's thinking about avodah zarah the whole day. You think the guy's a Russia? He's thinking about Kodesh Baruch Hu the whole day in his head. Famous Gemara. There was 10 measurements of Chachma that were given to the world. Tisha not Eretz Yisrael. 9 of them came to Eretz Yisrael. Vechad kol ha'olam kulai. And 1 in the entire world. We once discussed this. Person that comes, an American that comes here for Sukkah, does he get smarter? Is it this? You have to live here, the whole thing. Asar kam yoif yoder lo'ilam. There was 10 kam of beauty that came to the world. Tisha not Yerushalayim. This is one of these things I don't have a good answer for. And a lot of people ask the question. I just heard the question recently. If you were to go to the Alps, you'll say, wow, this is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this. Waterfall after waterfall, rivers, the mountains, this. So where's that Yoif in Eretz Yisrael that the Gemara is talking about? It's one of these things that the Gemara says it. Tanoim knew about the Alps. The Rishonim lived by the Alps. And they didn't have a problem. So you have to understand. It's one of these things that you have to understand. Asar kam mashirus yard lo'ilam. This 10 kam, what exactly it means. Asar kam mashirus came to the world. Tisha not l'roimi. 9 went to Rome. Vechad kol ha'olam kulai. Asar kam, you see over here, this has nothing to do with today's day. I mean, we're with the Ashirus in Rome. Italy is so wealthy. If you said Switzerland, maybe. Rome. Asar kam aniyus yard lo'ilam. 10 kav measurements of how do you say, of poverty. Thank you. Tisha not Lebovic. Went to Iran. That you see today. Asar kav gasus, arrogance yard lo'ilam. Tisha not lo'ilam. So here's a map. If it's 100% accurate, I don't know. It just gives you some sort of idea. So we're talking about Elan. Elan is east, I guess, of Bavel. V'gasus Lebovic l'nochas. Asked the Gemara, what? You telling me Bavel didn't get this arrogance? Saw a vision of 2 women leaving, v'ruach v'chanfeim, and they had wind under their wings, and they had wings of a stork. Here, a picture of a stork, boys, if you don't know what it looks like. This one is also carrying a large measurement of Eifa. Bein Ares, this is a picture from Yuvamis, of course, of what is it? And she carried the measurement between earth and Shemayim. Where are they going? They're going to Bavel. Reb Elchanan, what were they building? Zuchanufa, flattery, v'gasus haruach, arrogance. Shiur Lebovic. The Akoponim, it says over here that arrogance went to Bavel, and not to Elan. Says Gemara in Lachanelches, yeah, it landed in Elam and went to landed in Bavel and went to Elam. It started off with 2 women, and all of a sudden it's law. Okay, so you see that it went down to one place, but the other place also got it. Shema Mina. Says Gemara, Eini, Vamamar Sim Legasus Anius. So I don't know, Yoshi did a whole thing here. I didn't get a chance to see it before. Modai, Elam. Did we already talk about Modai? Tisha Kav went to Modai. We'll see, maybe in a second. Says Gemara, Eini, Vamamar Sim Legasus Anius. If you want to see where there's arrogance, there's a place. It's a place where there's poverty. Why? Because arrogance brings poverty. There's so much poverty in Bavel, as we said before, and Memela, it must have come from the arrogance. Says Gemara, my anios the torah. When you have poverty in Torah, that brings to arrogance. So I was just thinking, like, I don't know if you had this, I had the opportunity to hear it many times, you hear it in speeches. You have a Rosh Yeshiva gets up, he says, Ich hab getracht. I was thinking, nearly, or it's the best as they say. So I once said, that mamish, that drives me crazy. Just say what you're saying now. Ich hab amol gesagt. He's talking in third person. Like I once heard from myself. Okay, fine. But if you just say, the Gemara over here says, when you say, La'aniyas daiti nire, that's aniyas the Torah. Now just invoke these thoughts to me. Okay, fine. It's aniyas daiti. Nobody had a Rosh Yeshiva that said that. La'aniyas daiti nire, fine. That's aniyas the Torah. And that's gasus. There's a lot of Torah in Elan, but they didn't teach it. Says Gemara, there's 10 measurements of strength. Tisha Notlu Parsim, the Persians, and the Echel Kol. There's 10 measurements of kinim, lice. Tisha Notlu Modai. My wife will argue with that. She'll say this in another country, whatever. Asar Kabim Kshofim Yardul witchcraft. Tisha Notlu Mitzrayim. Asar Kabim Negoim Yardul Tisha Notlu Chazirim. Davrachers, PIGs. Asar Kabim Znus Yardul Tisha Notlu Aravio. Asar Kabim Azus Yardul How do you say Azus in English? No, this is chutzpah. Okay, chutzpah, that's better. Tisha Notlu Meishon. Aha, that's why here you can see the whole chart here. It's going too slow. It's very heavy files. Speech, talk. Tisha Notlu Nashim. Let her do all the talking. That's what she did. She has Tisha Kav. You shouldn't need to get involved. 9 measurements of drunkenness came. Tisha Notlu Kushim. Ethiopians. So we have a picture here. Stam. Why not? Who? Which one? Oh, the sleeping head. Very good. Excellent. Maybe. I guess slaves sleep. I don't know. Fine. Mishnah. I'm just doing the Mishnah and then we'll continue from there on. What does it say on top over there? Time. How long are we going already? Yeah, but we have to do this Mishnah. We'll just do it. It's a very easy Mishnah. We already said it. A person promises the kohen, find out that he's a Levi. Levi means a kohen. It happens a lot. I'm thinking to myself now, a lot of Bali Tshuva that think they're kohanim. They tell the wife, I'm a kohen. Turns out they do a little research, so they're not kohanim. V'nimtza kohen. Nasim v'nimtza mamzer. Mamzer v'nimtza nasim. Benir v'nimtza ben krach. Oh, this is more. I come from Brooklyn. I don't want to marry out of towner. V'nimtza ben krach. Ben krach v'nimtza ben nair. I'm next to the mikvah. V'nimtza rochel. Ooh, it's too far from the mikvah. Rochel v'nimtza karet. On condition that he has a daughter, so we said Mugudelas could either mean she's old enough that she could do work around the house, or that she's respected and she schmoozes with the neighbors. He gets into a marriage. He tells the wife, I have 0 kids. She comes home the first night and there's 26 kids there. It's a problem. Or if she wants kids, she can't have her own kids, she wants his kids, and he doesn't have. Even though she thought in her mind that regardless of what he has and what he doesn't have, she wants to marry this guy. And if she lies to him, it's also not a Kiddushin. Rabbi said, good Moed, we'll see you tomorrow in my Sukkah at 10 o'clock.